Mr. Armitage, welcome, and we look forward to your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you'll allow me just to submit my testimony for the record, the purpose of this hearing is for you all to ask questions. The public wants questions asked. We're going to do our best to give you some answers. I'd just like to make 3 points, if I might. The first is one that is a question that is not asked in the letter that you kindly sent to Secretary Powell and Secretary Rumsfeld, and that is, are we satisfied that we did everything we could do to prevent 9/11 from happening? It's implicit in these hearings, but the question I want to pose explicitly, and the answer to that is, when you see 3,000 of your brothers and sisters die, when you witness the compelling testimony yesterday, people sitting in the audience holding pictures of their loved one, no one can say they were satisfied. No matter how splendidly any individual think they were doing their job, and no matter that thus far I have not been able to ascertain a single point of failure in the system. This is not to say that we just sat back for the 9 months or so from the time the administration came in until this tragedy occurred. I'll speak obviously from the Department of State's point of view. As was noted yesterday by Ms. Hill, the strategic intelligence was not bad. In fact, it was good enough for us to take several steps. We issued between January and September 9 separate warnings, 5 of them global, because of the threat information we were receiving from the intelligence agencies. And in the summer, when George Tenet was around town, literally pounding on desks saying something's happening, this is an unprecedented level of threat information. He didn't know where it was going to happen, but he knew it was coming. The strategic information was sufficient to allow us to go out to 4 specific posts with warning. And let me be clear, this does not mean we tell our people in the embassy to button up. We are required, because of our no dual standard or policy, to inform every American who's going to travel to X country and every American that we have registered in that country by email, by consular telephonic notification, by bulletins in hotels, etc. And I make this point because it behooves all travelers to make sure they do what we've long requested that they do. That is, check in with the U.S. Embassy, whether you're a permanent resident, and most of them do, or whether you're a visitor. Second, the administration, I think as you'll see through your questions, in their, I believe, first deputies meeting after Paul and I were both confirmed, set off against al-Qaeda. And as you'll see in the questionings today, we didn't just want to roll back. We realized that we were in a war. And you'll see that through the testimony. Finally, it's something that I don't quite know how to verbalize, and it's this. I mentioned that we were able to warn some of our embassies. We did it again last week, as you saw, particularly in Southeast Asia, because of specific and we believe credible information. And in some cases, we buttoned them up. We closed them. We kept people at home. Did we save any lives? I don't know. I hope so. Last summer, when we did the same thing, did we save any lives? I don't know. I hope so. And that's the point I want to make is, for the Department of State, the metric to define success in many in aspects of this war is in things that didn't happen, things that were avoided. So I guess another way of saying that is that your administration and successive administrations have to be right every time, every single time. The terrorists only have to be right once. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.